All right. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been the pandemic.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, you could do that. I have a Yankee shirt. They're not doing well. We do stink.
Well, so the Capitals apparently too.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's Washington in a nutshell. Political commentary.
Yeah, no, it's been a little bit too long that we've done this. Even the regular podcast, it's been a couple weeks, but
Adulting.
Yay!
It's been a thing.
So yeah, last time we did like an hour worth of baseball, just baseball, and we said we were going to do other sports, and then things got busy, and then yeah, now we're here.
Yeah.
So baseball again.
Yes, because of course baseball. Who cares about the Stanley Cup and the NBA Finals again?
Yeah, because the Rangers aren't in there. My teams aren't in there, so I don't care.
And I'm just bandwagoning, and they're not in either. But anyway, baseball. I guess the first thing we can talk about is the All-Star ballot. The first round of MLB All-Star balloting has finished, and now as of this week, it is now down to the finals. So how this vote goes is that from the 28th of June to, I believe, where does it say? Till the end of the month. This Thursday at 2 p.m., all the vote totals are cleared, and the top three at each position go in a final round to determine who is
clean slate.
Clean slate. And then on the 4th of July at 5:30, they'll announce the All-Star rosters and the winners. So,
do the coaches and players have any vote with that?
They vote the reserves and the pitchers. Okay. But yeah, the fans get to vote the lineups. The players, and the coaches vote everyone.
Hashtag Eric Sogard.
Yeah. It goes, and there's I forget if there's going to be a final vote this year. Well, there probably is. I forget. I'm never told anything. But the players choose, and then the coaches go last because they have to make sure every team's represented, except for that one year that they didn't have any Marlins representatives because Stanton got injured. But anyway, so yeah.
What else is new with Stanton?
Yeah. So some facts: the top 5 leading vote getters. 5th place, Fernando Tatis Jr., 2 million votes, 2,052,000 votes. Rounding up, of course. Yeah. Mike Trout, who notably will be injured and will not play in the
Didn't he just get on like a 60-day?
Yeah, but that's more of a procedural move. He'll be activated after the All-Star break. Yeah. But 2,084,000 votes, that's probably suppressed because people know he's injured. 3rd place, this might surprise you, but Salvador Perez, 2,150,000 votes.
He's having a good year.
Yeah, but he surprised someone in Kansas City, but he is the premier catcher in the sport right now. Ronald Acuna Jr., 2nd place, 2,510,000. And then 1st place, Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
Vladdy.
2,704,788 votes.
Vladimir Guerrero Jr. has such a nice swing. Is it as nice as his dad's or Ken Griffey's? I don't know if it's there yet. But when he was hitting 400 in the minor leagues... and then he came up and he wasn't really replicating that. I think that was just a matter of just adjusting. Whether he's going to hit 330 for the rest of his career, I hope so.
He'd probably,
but probably not.
But will he hit 40 home runs for every year for the rest of his career? That looks a lot more likely.
That looks a lot more likely, especially with pitchers not being allowed to use sticky stuff anymore.
Yeah, which we'll get into later. Yeah. But yeah, go over a little bit who doesn't the top 3 and. If we think there's actually going to be a change from them, I'll list them 1st place, 2nd place, 3rd place. So the DH, obviously American League only. Shohei Ohtani, J.D. Martinez of the Red Sox, and Yordan Alvarez at the Astros.
It's a good trio.
I think Ohtani's got it.
I mean, leading the league in extra base hits and home runs.
And also being the two-way.
Yeah.
My question is... Will they tempt and will they have him start and then put him on the mound? Will they? I don't think they'll do that, but will.
I mean, he's got a sub-3 ERA. So.
I mean, the American League manager is going to be Kevin Cash, so he's known for doing weird things.
Yeah.
But another thing that's a slam dunk. Catcher for the American League, Salvador Perez in 1st place, and then 2nd and 3rd, Martin Maldonado, who was a longtime backup for many years, And then the most interesting player in baseball, as I coined him, Yasmani Grandal, who has a little more batting average now, but still has that bizarre, very low batting average, very high on-base percentage streak. And he's going to get a few more games with some White Sox injuries. He's going to be playing a bit of first base for a while until Jose Abreu gets on the mend. But yeah, I don't see that changing.
No.
National League, I might see changing. First place is Buster Posey. Second place, Yadier Molina. And then third place, Wilson Contreras of the Cubs. I could see that just because Posey and Molina, they're like the catchers of the 2010s. It's kind of like a retro behind the plates.
Yep.
And they say here that all three have combined to start 9 of the past 11 All-Star games.
Sheesh.
Wilson Contreras got the last 2, snapping a streak of 3 straight by Posey, and Molina last started in 2013.
Oh wow, that's that far.
Yeah.
At least he got all those Gold Gloves though.
Yeah. First base, American League. I don't think Vlad Jr. is going to be usurped.
I don't think so.
No, the other 2 guys, Yuri Gurriel and Jose Abreu, who National League. This is where I could see some things happening. First place, Max Muncy of the Dodgers.
Really?
Yeah, he's had a very good on base percentage all year, like near the 400s.
Wow.
For a while, he was leading the league. Then Freddie Freeman, who's got off to a rough start at the season. And then Anthony Rizzo, who's quietly been a solid player for the Cubs. I could see this changing. I could see name recognition, Freddie Freeman, especially if he's hot this week.
Yeah.
To get it. Rizzo, I think, is the one that actually should be in second place. I don't think he'll.
Yeah.
Second base. Marcus Semien of the Blue Jays, his first time playing second base, is in first. Jose Altuve in second place, and third place DJ LeMahieu of.
He's not having a particularly very good season.
No, but a lot of I've looked. The crop at second baseman is not really that. Like Jed Lowry's doing good, but it's Jed Lowry.
Yeah.
Nick Madrigal probably would have been here if he didn't have a season-ending injury last month. So it's kind of a low pickings on the second base totem pole. But I think Marcus Semien will run away, not just because he's the better player of all, but I think if you look, Houston and New York are second and third place. I would wonder how many people from other teams didn't vote for them because either A, it's the Astros and they cheated, or B, it's the Yankees and they never like to give the Yankees National League's, this is a little interesting. Ozzie Albies is in first place for the Braves. Second place, Adam Frazier of the Pirates.
Yeah.
And third, Gavin Lux of the Dodgers, who I'm surprised is there because he's having an okay but not great season. But again, this probably more represents the current group of Major League second baseman than anything else.
Yeah.
But I'm a little surprised to see Frazier up there. I know he's leading the league and is the best, one of the 2 best players along with 3, along with Brian Reynolds and Brian Hayes on the Pirates team that's really moribund. But surprised that the voters recognized it. I was saying beforehand that Frazier's been connected to the White Sox, the Indians, and the Yankees as a solid left-handed bat who can get on base.
That's definitely what the Yankees need.
Oh,
they so need that.
Yeah.
So bad.
Yeah. Shortstop. Interesting, I found out. The American League has not had the same shortstop start 2 consecutive All-Star games since Derek Jeter in 2010.
Really?
Yeah. Xander Bogaerts, who's leading the votes, started in 2016. Bo Bichette's in second place, has never been to an All-Star game, and then Carlos Correa started in 2017. In case you're wondering, Jorge Polanco, who's not on this list, started in 2019. He's since become a more utility player for the Twins. But I could see Bichette going out. He's been having a good season. Bogarts, I think, is the most underrated shortstop in all of baseball. And I think because of that Bichette might go. Yeah, I liked his hustle. It's a Yankee fans, we respect good Red Sox players. National League, I don't think this is changing. Fernando Tatis Jr.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think not after 3 home runs.
No, after 3 home runs and just leading the National League in home runs.
You know who doesn't like 3 home runs for Fernando Tatis Jr.?
Yes, I I benched him the day before because the Padres are off, and I forgot to start him in time for the 3 home run game. Yeah. The other two guys, Javier Baez, who's been a solid, who's rebounded for the Cubs, and then a surprising name, Brandon Crawford, who's quietly put a very good season for the Giants. So that was the shortstop. Third base.
Who? What?
I don't know. Rafael Devers is leading for the Red Sox. I've always liked him since I first saw him hit his first.
Except for when he's got a mouthful of chewing tobacco. Yeah. That's gross.
Yeah, but I always liked him since he hit that home run off Chapman his rookie season when he was 19. Alex Bregman of the Astros in second place, and then a former Red Sox, Yoan Moncada for the White Sox in third place. The note, Bregman has a left quad strain right now and might not be available for the All-Star game. Mm-hmm. I think Devers has got this.
Especially if the Red Sox, after sweeping the Yankees, they stay hot.
Yeah. Nationally, this is another one that's interesting. Chris Bryant recently overtook Nolan Arenado for first place near the end. And Justin Turner has quietly made his business in third place. This is going to be interesting. The other great rivalry in sports, the Cubs and the Cardinals. A lot of history there usually with the Cardinals screwing over the Cubs in trades. Lou Brock.
I was like, wait, what are you talking about? Arenado's on the Rockies. I'm like, oh no, that's right. They traded him this year.
This is 2021, my friend.
Yes. Will Trevor Story be next?
Yeah, most likely. Nolan Arenado. As I said, I want him to start just so he can give a big middle finger to...
because the Rockies are hosting.
To Dick Morfort, and I think it's Montefiore who owns the Rockies. If not, I apologize. We'll put something on the screen to say who it is if it isn't.
Probably not.
Yeah, probably not. But maybe. But yeah, I could see Arenado winning in a final push because he's a big name. He makes the good plays. Bryant, I think... is also deserving. Both will make the All-Star team, but I think Arenado is the guy to do it, if nothing more than just for a PR stunt.
Yeah.
Then the outfield. This is the big one where 9 players. First place, no surprise, we saw him in the top vote-getting, Mike Trout. Even though he's injured, it's still Mike Trout. He'll probably finish...
They'll do it better than all the Yankees combined.
Maybe not, because in second place, Aaron Judge.
No, I mean stats-wise.
Oh, stat-wise, yes. Except maybe Aaron Judge.
Yeah.
Because he's definitely been the best. He's rebounded from injuries and stuff to put a very solid season. Third place, another guy who's injured, Byron Buxton.
Yeah, I know. He had such a good start to the year and then just...
He's been bad luck. He had the strain, and then 2 days, like a week after he came back, he got hit in the hand and it fractured a finger, and he's out for the break as well. Fourth place, Michael Brantley of the Astros. Mm-hmm. Fifth, a rookie bursting on the scene, Adolis Garcia for the Rangers. He's a guy, he's older, he's I think 27, 20. But he burst on the scene. He's their best power hitter, mainly because he hits for a little more average than Joey Gallo. Oh, actually, no, he's their best player, aside from pitching. 279 batting average coming into Monday, 20 home runs, 55 RBIs, 7 stolen bases too.
That's pretty good for a power hitter.
Yeah, and someone who wasn't really a regarded prospect. Teoscar Hernandez, 6th place for the Blue Jays. Cedric Mullins of the Orioles, 7th. Alex Verdugo of the Red Sox. I always said that he would give them solid in the Mookie Betts trade. He's in 8th. And the 9th, a guy who we didn't think would be starting regularly, Randall Grichuk for the Blue Jays. He was supposed to be squeezed out by Springer, but Springer's been hurt. Interesting note, Trout, Judge, and Brantley are the only outfield finalists who have ever made an All-Star game before.
Who?
Trout, Judge, and Brantley.
Oh, I was going to say, I'm pretty sure Judge has made it. But
no. Buxton's never started an All-Star game. Obviously, the others...
He was a really highly touted prospect years ago.
Yeah. He was basically the second coming of what's-his-face who's on the Yankees now? The center fielder.
Hicks?
Yeah, Hicks. That great regarded prospect, fantastic defense, can't hit a lick. But this year he was finally putting it together and then gets hurt. But... yeah, I could see. Obviously, we won't know who who will replace Trout, because I think Trout will still be on this ballot just because of name recognition, but I think Buxton will drop off. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be Judge, Trout, and either Brantley or Garcia, I feel. Garcia quietly putting together stats, and Brantley just is doing his usual high-contact performance. National League. The second and third place, if you haven't been following the Reds, you might come to a surprise. First place, Ronald Acuna.
Not a surprise.
Second place, Nick Castellanos. And third place, Jesse Winker of the Reds. That if you haven't been paying attention to their stats and everything, you'll be like, who are these guys? Why are they deserving? Well, Nick Castellanos is hitting .342, 14 home runs, and 43 RBIs with a .984 on-base percentage. And Jesse Winker, who having a breakout year, .326, 18 home runs, 46 RBI, and leading the National League in doubles. It's a surprise that the Reds aren't any better than they are, considering they got two great
just split from Joey Votto and decide to form their own duo?
Maybe.
Those are some Joey Votto numbers.
Yeah.
from the mid-2010s.
Yeah, the rest of it, pair of Dodgers, Mookie Betts and Chris Taylor, Juan Soto of the Nationals, Harper of the Phillies, Jock Peterson of the Cubs, and just squeezing in at the very last minute, Mike Yastrzemski of the Giants. I think out of these, Mookie Betts is probably the only one I could see going.
Yeah, just by name recognition.
Yeah, name recognition only. I think these largely we had our predictions last show. I think these mostly fall in line with who we thought.
Yeah, I think so.
I think the only exception was Nick Madrigal wasn't hurt at the time.
Yeah.
So that kind of screwed over our second base predictions for the American League. But everyone else, we said. I think one of us said Semien. Mm-hmm. We both said Bogarts. Mm-hmm. They're the obvious ones like Ohtani, Tatis, and Guerrero. Mm-hmm. The only one that's kind of not is third base. We thought. I
think we both flip flopped.
Yeah,
on that one.
Which it reflects the voting that Brian just overtook Arenado for third, and then outfield.
That's a mess.
It's a mess. It's hard to predict that, but I think we largely got the National League right.
Yeah, the National League's probably going to stay.
Yeah. Any players that you think that you're surprised to see here that we haven't already reacted to?
That we haven't already reacted to? No, I don't think specifically. The Reds players are definitely big surprises.
I find it really interesting that for the first time since the 60s. Mm-hmm. Yastrzemski is back on the All-Star ballot. This would be his first time on an All-Star team, if I recall. Since, I don't think he was 20. No, he wasn't on the roster in 2019. He came up late, but he had the last good season. This year, only hitting .227 with 10 home runs. But again, the outfield's hitting's been a rather rough. As of late.
Well, hopefully that'll turn around with pitchers not using sticky stuff. Yes. But then again, as my boy Trevor Bauer likes to say, legal or not legal, and he puts a baseball in his hand and just lets it stick there, and they're like, that's definitely illegal, and he's like, that's just sweat and rosin. Yeah. So,
but it's led to a lot of hilarious instances.
Yeah. Joe Girardi was accusing Mad Max Scherzer of putting his hand through his hair. He's like, he never does that, and had him check not once, not twice, but thrice. 3 times?
Yeah, 3 times.
And then that third point, he takes off his belt. He's looking. He's like,
and then Girardi tries to challenge Kevin Long, his former hitting coach from the Yankee days, now in the Nationals, and then he gets ejected. It's a whole big PR mess. On the same day, we had I forget the A's guy. The A's guy goes checks it. All right, here's my belt. Here's my pants. Have fun. Just right off. And then the day before, we had the rather hilarious ops of. You've probably heard of this guy, certain Angel Hernandez, checking Orioles pitcher in the 7th inning while it's pouring. I think there's going to be a substance on that ball.
No good.
Might not be rosin, but there's definitely going to be some liquidy substance on it.
I forget who it was who made someone check, but then the umpire broke his belt. They had to delay the game.
I definitely don't remember that.
Yeah. Yeah, I was watching John Boy. He was showing that. Yeah,
so
the player broke his belt.
Yeah. So from what I've read of the rule is that they will be checking, and this will be in place until the league is sufficiently satisfied that there is no shenanigans going on. How long that goes, I don't know, but already there have been some battle lines being drawn. That there are a lot of players, mostly hitters, that are saying about time, everyone's doing it. But you have some pitchers who are very vocal about this, not just like the Trevor Stories of the world. Tyler Glasnow, just before the rule took place, he had a start and he got hurt.
Yep.
And after the game, he went and ripped the new rule, specifically how the rule was done in the middle of the season, and gave them no time to really give an alternative. Let me see if I can find the quote. Here it is. Quote, I switched my fastball grip and my curveball grip. I had to put my fastball deeper into my hand to grip it way harder. Instead of holding my curveball at the tip of my fingers, I had to dig it deeper into my hand. I'm toking the steak out of all my pitches.
Yeah. Well,
obviously, he didn't say steak.
Yeah. Maybe try not to throw a 95-mile-an-hour fastball if your arm can't naturally handle that.
I mean, that seems obvious. The soft tossing pitcher who you've known them all the time. John Garland in the 2000s was one of them, well known. They're basically extinct unless you're a more-bound team like the Royals, the Pirates, the Diamondbacks, but the bigger thing I feel is that they're changing the rules in the middle of the game.
Yeah,
you can't.
No.
You're given the stuff.
You're told beginning of the year you're not going to change anything, and then just to keep doing what you're doing, and we'll figure it out later. And then all of a sudden that becomes like halfway through the season, and now you're like forced to be doing things that like you should have been doing from the beginning. But like if everyone's cheating, you might as well cheat too.
Yeah, you're stuck with. The big case of this is Tyler Glasnow of the Tampa Bay Rays, who just before they put the new rules, partially tore his UCL and strained his flexor tendon. And after the start, he explained that he blames the rules on this. He said before, in advance of the initiative, the only substance he ever used was sunscreen, which is one of the substances that they are doing away with. So he stopped using it, and he said that the grip adjustment was awkward for him, and he was feeling sore.
Or
Quote,
maybe not throw 95-mile-an-hour fastballs when, you can't physically do that without a grip.
Yeah, but as he said, that quote, I have to put my fastball deeper into my hand and grip it way harder. Instead of holding my curveball at the tip of my fingers, I have to dig it deeper into my hand. I'm choking the steak out of all my pitches. He did not say steak. The big part is his second part of the quote. Do it in the off season. Give us a chance to adjust to it. But I just threw 80 innings. Then you tell me I can't use anything in the middle of the year. I have to change everything I've been doing the entire season. I'm telling you, I truly believe that's why I got hurt. And he's kind of got a point.
Yeah.
That usually baseball doesn't change rules, and usually any sport doesn't change rules mid-season. This is really one of the most well-known times of doing it.
Well, it's not that they're changing a rule; they're just enforcing the rule. Because it is a rule, you're not supposed to add anything.
Yeah, but it's the same. It's the problem is that baseball has a history of kind of eating their own when it comes to looking the other way and then suddenly enforcing it. Take the late '90s. Baseball had been decimated by the strike in '94. The World Series canceled. The interest was down. It led to the demise of the Expos, nearly contracted that, and the Twins. But then you had Sosa and McGuire battling for the home run record. You had guys like Barry Bonds and Jason Giambi juicing up, hitting stuff. Roger Clemens throwing 100 miles an hour. that these guys help
Apparently
bring this.
Pedro stayed clean through 99 and 2000 and through two of the best seasons ever in history. So I don't know what he was using.
Yeah, he was using that Red Sox magic.
Yeah, well, it was the right. I don't know if you saw that behind the scenes sort of thing where he was talking about how Trevor Bauer kept the ball in his hand.
Yeah.
With just rosin and sweat, and he's like, "Hey, listen to this," and he had his microphone, and he was just like, "This is what it is," and you could hear the stickiness of just when he's going like this, making the pressure, because if you just sort of pet the ball or the player's hand, you're not going to feel the stickiness. But when you make the actual hard surface tension, that's where you hear it.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting.
Yeah, but so the steroids help bring the baseball back into the public conscious, and then even more so when the league decided to drag them all in front of the U.S. Congress and testify on steroid use. So now we kind of have the same thing now, and that's also after Major League Baseball changed the composition of the ball, which led to higher batting averages, and then they changed it again, and now we have more
super
low batting averages. This is why I say that there's going to be a strike after this season.
Definitely. With
the bargaining agreement up, it's already been frosty as is.
Yep. Last year was a big bump in the road.
And you now have some people, I'm starting to hear some people saying that that the composition of the ball changing is not accidental. Because after the 2017 season, there was going to be a big crop of pitching free agents. The ball starts flying out. Those guys' stats go off, and they don't get as much. Now you have a big crop of hitters, the best shortstop group you've seen in years or decades. Now batting averages are suppressed, and you're looking at Correa is hitting well, Baez is hitting well, but Story's not doing that well.
Lindor was struggling for a bit, although he now has his big contract.
Yeah,
so.
But he's still struggling.
Yeah.
You have had
Gleyber Torres isn't.
So you're starting to hear there's collusion going on with the league to intentionally depress salaries of certain players. The first time we're really hearing about the collusion talk since the 80s when they actually did collude to depress free agents. I don't think that's going on. I think it's Manfred messing with the game more than he should. But I'm not a.
The player I'm most interested to see how he rebounds next year is Justin Verlander, because he had Tommy John last year.
Yes.
So he missed all of the shortened season last year.
And all of this season.
Yeah, or maybe he played one inning or something.
Yeah, he had one start and then got hurt.
Got hurt, and then he's going to miss all of this year. And what makes it interesting is he won an MVP, Cy Youngs with the Tigers in Detroit, and then Father Time crept up to him. They traded him over to the Astros, and then all of a sudden he had a revival in his career. Won the World Series, brought him back to another one. Did really well in those 3 years he was there.
Unfortunately, for the Yankees.
So whether that was he just revitalized his career or the Astros were onto something a little bit more, and that sort of helped his stuff. So, yeah. But he's sort of, I think, the only guy though that's gonna get a free pass, because he could be like, oh, I just had Tommy John surgery. That's why my spin rate's not as good.
Yeah.
If he doesn't go back with the Astros and he decides to go with the Tigers again.
As I was saying, why would they want to go? You want to go with the Tigers unless the Tigers are looking to make that final push towards getting back into contention, because they got stiff competition in the. I guess the segues to looking at are the standings.
Yeah.
That the Tigers, I believe their benefit is they're not the Twins. The Central stand. Oh, they're actually in third place, but only by one game. That the Tigers, the Royals, and the Twins are 11.5 games back of the White Sox, and the Indians are second place, 2.5 games back. The Royals dropped back. They've been a really streaky team. They've had 9-game winning streaks and 10-game losing streaks.
I mean, the East, the AL East, the Red Sox and the Rays have been flip-flopping. Yankees and Jays have been flip-flopping, as the Yankees can't seem to beat either the Rays or the Sox.
And the Orioles are the Orioles.
Yeah, so, but I still think it's the most interesting division out of everything. The AL West, the Astros decided to go on a bit of a tear and take over the Athletics. The NL East, the Mets are still leading that, but it's a mess of a division. Central, Brewers, and Cubs sort of keep flip-flopping there. The Cardinals were there, and then they had some bad 2-8 streak. Giants are still somehow on top of the NL West. The Dodgers and Padres fighting it out for second.
And the Diamondbacks finally won a road game.
Yes, they did.
23 road games later, they finally won. Unfortunately, they still have the worst record at 22-57.
And we got to end here.
Yep.